Hey guys, what's up? It's Will here once again. We're going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night 109 from the beautiful Stockholm, Sweden, as Alexander Gustafsson fights in his hometown against Glover Teixiera in the main event there. As always, I just want to say thank you for your likes, comments, subscribing. I think I set a target of 1,250 subscribers by my baby coming in the next 4 weeks. We're not far away from that, but you guys have been awesome. You're leaving great comments down below, great picks as well. Just keep on doing that. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about picks and how I see things and how you see things, and seeing what differences we have here. Coming off a great card at UFC 211. I thoroughly enjoyed the card. I thought the prelims were really, really good. The main card was really good. It was just an overall a really good card to come back to after a 3-week break. Another break in here. This event actually takes place on a Sunday, which I love because Sunday is one of my days off. I don't have to watch in 3-4 a.m. in the morning. I can eat my Sunday dinner and watch fights, so that is awesome for me. And I'm sure it'll be nice and early for you guys over in the States, because I know a lot of my viewers are from Canada and United States, and a lot from South America as well. So yeah, overall the card is your kind of run-of-the-mill European card. A lot of kind of filler fights, but there is fighters I am looking forward to seeing, fighters I haven't seen in a long time, coming back maybe a year, 2 years plus, so looking forward to that. As always, you can please go support the guys down below that I mention week in and week out in these breakdowns. You know who they are by now. Half the Battle, Rockstar Z, MMA Kilton, UFC Bro Picks, MMA God is a guy I always forget about, and Corey is one of the nicest guys out there. I love watching his stuff week in and week out. Go and show him support and subscribe to him if possible, because he does make good stuff, and he's one of the guys I look out for in fight week with his content, so go and support that guy. James Lynch, his interviews are top notch. He has some ready going for this card here as well. Just a guy that you should always go and watch his stuff, because he's a very hard worker. He's one of the guys I thoroughly respect within the kind of whole MMA kind of industry business wise. Just being a fan as well. He's just a really top-notch guy, works very hard, and just go and show your support. The Daily Fantasy MMA guys, all you guys on there are absolutely awesome. I mentioned them last time. There was Brett, Joe, Mark. I could go through all of them. Lara, Gravy Cakes, Mike, H3 Buddha, all good guys that I thoroughly, when fight week comes, it's given me like an added thing on now since I've started getting into DraftKings. I am into DraftKings quite a lot now, and they give me so much more extra content. I thoroughly love it. Not that my DraftKings teams have been doing great recently, but it's still it's another thing for fight week for you fans out there to really try and get behind. I thoroughly recommend that you go and buy Brett's package for a week and come and get involved. He will win you money. If you listen to the nuances, and Joe, now they will win you money if you listen. But remember, it is your own money, so you need to make your own picks and go by that. Going to get into this card, not going to try and do it too long. Lightweight division, Marcin Held against Damian Hadzovic. This is a fight I'm looking forward to seeing. Marcin Held, he's come in, this is his third fight in the UFC, and he's lost to two of the biggest veterans in the UFC that we may... right now we will see. I mean, Joe Lozon, Diego Sanchez. From the get-go, I thought Diego Sanchez was a bad style matchup for him, especially with it going down in Mexico City. And it turned out that way, and Diego got a win. Came back against Joe Lozon. I thought he won that fight. I think a lot of people thought he won that fight. I think Joe Lozon actually thought he kind of won that fight as well. He showed some of that really good ground skill that he's got. He's really good technique down there, but the judges saw it the other way, and that's something that he really needs to kind of change up a wee bit. He can't just go for the ground and expect to kind of win fights through that. And I know he's very, very good in the ground. He's vicious down there with his submission attempts and so on and so on. But he has to show something in the feet. He has to kind of mix it up a little bit here. Damian Hadzovic, we have some early odds in some of this over here, but I'm a little bit... I'm not sure about... I have one bet already for this card, but I'm not sure about when the American lines drop. I think everything might flip quite a lot. But at the minute, Damian Hadzovic is an underdog, and I'm going to pick Damian Hadzovic here. Second fight in the UFC, coming off a really tough knockout in the first round against Mairbek Taisumov. That's a tough UFC debut, especially it's your first fight, it's just a tough fight because Taisumov is one of those guys that's lurking outside the top 15 that I think people will say no to wanting to fight this guy because he's all around a tough, skilled fighter. Coming into that one, Taisumov, to his credit, was very, very good in what we seen in that 4 minutes of that fight. Very accurate, very fast, but Hadzovic got some strikes off. He got some big leg kicks. He got a nice couple of cross left hands, left hooks I should say, that hit Taisumov. And the reason I'm kind of leaning towards Damir Hadzovic here is if you have Fight Pass, go into UFC Fight Pass and look up Cage Warrior 66, where he faced a former UFC veteran, in John Maguire. Now I know that's a few years ago now, but John Maguire, his game plan for that fight would have been to take Hadzovic down there, because we all know that if you've been following Hadzovic like I have over here in Europe, the guy has big power, and if he uncorks it on you, you're going to be in deep shit. He went for like the single leg, Hadzovic turned it over, and once it got back to the feet, he unleashed 3 or 4 really devastating knees and knocked out John Maguire. That was a very, very nice win in his record. So he came into UFC, Mairbek Taisumov. That's a tough fight for anybody. I just think that he's going to stuff takedowns here. If he fights smart, stuffs takedowns, and once this is on the feet, it's a clear one-way fight for Damir Hadzovic. I don't see where Marcin Held has anything on the feet. And I think he can go hard for 3 rounds as well. And I can just see him catching Marcin Held. Now I know he hasn't been finished by too often as Marcin Held. I think Damir Hadzovic here can actually stop him. I've seen people go against me regarding this pick already on social media, which is fine. I just see Damir Hadzovic as an underdog in this, because I think the underdogs are going to be very few and far between in this one, and Damir Hadzovic is one that sticks out to me. So I'm going to go Damir Hadzovic by maybe a late 2nd round TKO, early 3rd round TKO. Welterweight division, Darren Till against Yesin Ayari. Liking Darren Till in this. I know he's been out a long time. He had I think it was an arm injury he had, but I think he has got more than enough here to beat Yesin Ayari. I wasn't impressed with Yesin Ayari against Jim Wallhead. He's got that karate kind of style. He throws his arms and legs around quite a bit, and he doesn't throw really too much volume. And I just didn't think he looked good against Jim Wallhead. Wallhead could have won that fight if he kind of pushed himself and went at it a little bit more. Plus, it was in his home country of Germany as well, so maybe he got a little bit of a homer on that one. But I just don't like what I see out of Yesin Ayari, and I think that Darren Till is an all-action fighter. I am a little bit worried about his gas tank and him being out for a little bit. He came in and he beat Vendel Oliveira in his UFC debut, and then he went to a very fun fight. I was there in Dublin when he fought Nicholas Dalby. That was a fucking great fight. Really back and forward fight. He gassed in that one, got hurt, and it went to a decision, and it was a draw. I think it was probably the right decision, if I'm all honest. There was a couple of guys up to my left, a few seats back, that were from Liverpool, that were like thoroughly piss kicking seats and everything. They thought he won that fight. I thought the draw was, after coming back and watching it, I thought it was a absolute spot on decision. So looking forward to seeing Darren Till here. I just think he's well versed everywhere. I think on the ground he's got some devastating ground and pound. On the feet he's quite long, so he can use that to his advantage. A little bit worried if it goes late, but I think he's got more than enough to win this fight. I like Darren Till via stoppage. I might go like ground and pound in the early round number 3, if not a fairly unanimous decision there. One of my most confident picks on the card. Welterweight division, we have Niko Masoki against Bojan Velokovic. Nice to see Niko Masoki back. Niko Masoki is a guy that we've knew over here in Europe for a long time, and he's been away for like 2 years now, and I was wondering, I actually said about 6 months ago where this guy was, because he doesn't really stand out in too many aspects of the game, but he's a really tough, gritty fighter who is very hard to put away. You don't really put away this guy, and he's just kind of well-rounded, very kind of grimy. He holds you against the cage and looks to kind of beat you up in there and look for takedowns. If the guy gets takedowns, he usually wins fights. He did that against Alessio Sakara. He did that against Biscardi Andrade. Took down Kelvin Gastelum 2 times. Just got boxed up by Kelvin Gastelum. We know that Kelvin can do that. Alexander Yakovlev, that was a kind of more a fight that was on the feet. and he won that one. And his last loss was to Albert Tumanov a couple of years ago on that Gustafsson Rumble card, which he just got pieced up a little bit in that, and he couldn't get the takedowns. He kind of gassed out, and Tumanov kind of pieced him up a little bit. Bojan, not a guy that's really impressed me a hell of a lot in his UFC tenure so far. He had that draw with Michael Graves, I think it was, win over Alessio Di Chirico. I wasn't really impressed with that too much, and then he lost his last fight out against Sultan Aliyev. He won the kind of striking advantages, but he got taken down a few times, and that's where he lost a close split decision. I think Aliyev had it. I picked Velokovic for the win. I thought that Aliyev got it though. I think if Nico Musoke comes out like he usually does and holds you against the cage to look for takedowns, I think he can get that. I think that on the feet it's fairly close. I don't really know who'll have much of an advantage. I think if Musoke mixes it up with that stalling on the fence with the striking, I think he can win rounds through that. Plus he's got his home country in his back. As long as he doesn't show any kind of serious ring rust, I see him winning this fight. So I'm going to go Nico Musoke via a decision. Lightweight division, we have Mairbek Taisumov against Joaquim Neto BJJ Silva. This is the fight I think should be on the main card. I think they really need to be pushing Mairbek Taisumov out to the masses. I think the hardcore fans know who this guy is. And like I said at the beginning there, I think that the top 15 are going to start to know who this guy is very soon. And he's one of those guys that's just sitting there that I think he can beat at least, looking at your top 15 guys now, I think at least 5 to 6 of those ranked guys, from maybe 8 down to 15. But there is people out there like Justin Gaethje, who's just come into the UFC, he's not even ranked yet. So there's guys, there's kind of wolves out there ready to jump into that top 15, and Mairbek Taisumov for me is one of those guys. This should be a fun fight because Silva is a very aggressive fighter. He showed that last time out against Andrew Holbrook. Holbrook went to throw a kick, and as he was kind of falling back, he threw a right hook and hit him square in the chin, followed up with 3 or 4 short shots on the ground, put him to sleep. I remember having that guy on, I think it was DraftKings I possibly had him on, and he scored very nicely with a first round finish. But I do think he is up against it here against Mairbek Taisumov. Like I was talking about the Hadzovic fight earlier on, he looked phenomenal in that fight. He looked so fast, so crisp, so accurate, varied up his striking, and I just think he's one of those all-around good fighters in the UFC, that he can win if it goes to the ground, he can win when it's on the feet, but last time on the feet he did look devastating against Hadzovic. Wins over Hadzovic, Alan Patrick, Anthony Cristodolo, Marcin Bandel, Taiyun Bang. I put Joaquim Silva in that kind of bracket there. Mairbek Taisumov, I think, is going to absolutely light up Silva here, and I expect a finish from him. It might be one of those, plus he finishes most of those fights. He took out Bandel, he took out Cristodolo, he took out Alan Patrick with a head kick. Hadzovic, I like him to finish this one. He is my second most confident pick. Yeah, he is. He is my second most confident pick on this fight card here, behind a guy who's coming up very soon. But I do have Taisumov in this 3-man parlay that I've already got, but I expect him to finish this early. I'm going to go a late round 1 finish here for Mairbek Taisumov. Middleweight division, a kind of so-so match. Trevor Smith against Chris Camozzi. I don't think this has any right being on a European card. It should be on one of the upcoming American cards that we've got going on, probably in Oklahoma. But I think Serenblad was supposed to come into this one, so I could see why they were pinning on Sweden. But this could have been a fight that could have been pulled and something else could have been put in. To be honest with you, I watched a little bit of tape in this. I didn't do as much as what I usually do because I have seen them a lot of times. Both guys coming off losses. Trevor Smith coming off that loss to Andrew Sanchez. Chris Camozzi coming off that loss to Dan Kelly, who is I pick against every time and seem to lose. And I think, honestly, this is literally, you get a coin, you flip it and you see which way it lands in this one. I think Camozzi is the better overall fighter, but I think that Trevor Smith is your kind of more tougher fighter. He's got a little bit more substance to him, I think. But I think Camozzi, what he's going to do is he's going to come out, he's going to stop, get the takedowns that Smith's going to attempt in the clinch, hit him with knees. I think on the feet he's definitely the better striker here. As long as the fight doesn't get into a place where he's getting held up against the fence or he gets taken down, I think on the feet he is the clearly better striker, the more varied striker as well with his leg kicks and so on. But honestly, this is it's going to be in my list down here, one of my least confident picks, because it could go either way. Both guys could be fighting for their job here the way they're going, especially Chris Camozzi. He's already been out the UFC. If you lose 3 straight, you're usually not sticking around. I'm going to go Chris Camozzi via a very smelly 29-28 decision. But I'm not confident in the slightest, and I'll be staying away from bets, anything regarding this. Camozzi's the pick though. Bantamweight division, Pedro Munhoz against Damian Stasiak. Love watching Pedro Munhoz fight. The little fucker is aggressive. Wherever it is, if he's on the feet, he's really aggressive. If he's on the ground, he's got a killer guillotine choke on him. He's just one of those guys I think has got a great choke hold on him. So if he catches you in that sequence, you're going to be tapping out like Justin Scoggins. Now I know Justin Scoggins, the guy really can't stop putting his head into bad positions to get submitted, but he's still got in there and got that finish as in his last fight. And his only 2 losses in the UFC are to two legit guys. Rafael Assunção on his debut nonetheless, which was a really tough fight to take, and his other one was Jimmy Rivera, and that was a very close split decision, which I seen a lot of people say he won that fight, and that's completely, I don't see, I can't really disagree with it. I scored it just for Munhoz, but if you gave it to Jimmy Rivera, then absolutely I can't really disagree with you on that one. I thought that it was very, very close, but I had it just for... no, in fact, I had it just for Rivera. Yeah, I don't know what I was talking about there. But I had it just for Rivera, but Munhoz, I've seen people give that for Munhoz. But I just really like watching him, and he is part 2 of my 3-man parlay here. He is in there with Taisumov and another guy further on the card. I have 3 units riding on this 3-man parlay. My most confident picks, 3 most confident picks on this card, hoping they all cash for me. But I like him in this one. I think Stasiak, I saw him at UFC 204. He was losing that fight. If that fight went to a judge's decision, I thought he was clearly going to lose that fight. He got outstruck in the feet. He did garner 3 or 4 takedowns, passed a whole load of times. It was close, but I think if I remember seeing the cards after, that Davy Grant was going to win that fight. He was up a couple of rounds. I just think that Munhoz is just better everywhere. I really do. I think he's better on the feet. He's faster, more crisper, more various strikes, better footwork, better wrestling, better jiu-jitsu. He is the better fighter. I expect him to win this fight here. I'm going to go a submission, round number 2 for Pedro Munhoz. Moving on to the main card now, we're starting off in the middleweight division with Jack Hermansson against Alex Nicholson. Now I think this could be a sleeper for fight of the night. I think that this could be a fight that takes place on the feet, and I think that one guy could I think both guys will expect to take each one of the other guys out here, but I've been going a little bit back and forth on this one, and then when I watched the tape over, I watched the fights of Hermansson and Nicholson during that kind of 3-week break, after I released my UFC 211 picks, and then I went back and watched a little bit yesterday, and it kind of solidified my pick for this one. Pick's going to be Jack Hermansson. I just think that fight against Munhoz, he got taken down. He was just I just thought Munhoz, he did everything he had to do in that fight to win it, and Hermansson just really kind of lost himself in that one. I expect him to kind of rebound here. Both guys really aggressive on the feet. We saw that Hermansson was very aggressive against Scott Askham, a guy who is right in front of you. You can strike very, very easily with, and I think this is another fight where his opponent's going to be right in front of him, and he will pick his shots and find those shots. But Nicholson, to his credit, is really, really aggressive. Really good gas tank. I mean, he went to Mexico against Sam Alvey, and he went really hard for 3 rounds. I thought that Alvey definitely deserved a decision. He is very, very dangerous, but I think Jack Hermansson has a better jab. I think he is all around a better striking game, but I think that Nicholson probably has the more power, so that's something he has to look out for. And I think that Hermansson, what he needs to do is he really needs to mix it up. I think get takedowns, put him against the cage, take him down, and try and just win rounds through that. I think that's what he's going to do. Set up his strikes to get takedowns and then win rounds through there. So I'm going to go... I'm a little bit worried about this pick. Jack Hermansson, I'm going to go in via decision. I think Nicholson is live though, and it might be someone I'm looking at maybe in DraftKings if he's just cheap play. I very much doubt it is. I think the Hermansson is the favourite if I'm right in seeing in the early odds that we've seen over here in Europe. I'm not really taking too much stock into those odds that I have seen, but I'm going to go Jack Hermansson via decision. Welterweight division, we have Nordine Taleb against Oliver Enkamp. Enkamp is a guy who's coming in here for Emil Mick, who pulled out last week. This is Nordine Taleb's fight to win 1,000,000%. When I heard about this newcomer yesterday, I went and watched his tape. There's not really much on him on YouTube. I found a fight on MMA Core, I think it was, and no, he's the only reason he's pretty much getting this. He's from Sweden. He's undefeated, he's 7-0, but the guys he's fought is absolutely terrible. There's more kind of highlight videos of this guy than anything else, and in the highlights, he very aggressive, throws a lot of spinning kicks, a lot of spinning shit. But someone like Nordine Taleb, who's very kind of methodical in his feet, very technical, and can pick his shots very well, he's just going to eat this guy up. Nordine Taleb is coming off that loss to Santiago Ponzinibbio. Very good fight, a very fun fight. I thought he was the underdog, big underdog in that one, and it was just a silly... The odds in that were a little off because I thought that he had a chance against Ponzinibbio. Comes through that Ponzinibbio was the better fighter on the night, but Nordine Taleb will be a huge favourite in this one, and I completely agree with it. Enkamp is... The reason he's getting this is it's in Sweden, it's in his home country, and Taleb should really beat this kid up pretty badly. If he doesn't get a finish, this is going to be 30-26 across the board. I expect to see a finish. I'm going to go with a finish for Nordine Taleb. Second round, TQ victory. Staying in the welterweight division, we have Abdul, Razak, Alhassan against Omari Akhmedov. And this is my third guy that this is my most confident pick in the whole entire card. Here we have Hassan making his second fight in the UFC here against Akhmedov, who's been around for a while. Watched Akhmedov's fights, I think it was Friday there, and this guy is taking a shitload of punishment. Like, he really has taken a lot of big hits, and I think he's facing the guy here who could be the biggest hitter of them all and the kind of most well-rounded one of them all. And I think he's coming off that fight with Kyle Noak. I don't think he looked impressive. Kyle Noak was already thinking about retiring in that fight. You could see he just didn't have any pep in him, any pop in him. But before that, he got absolutely blasted by Sergio Moraes. He was winning that fight, in all fairness. Zaleski dos Santos, he got absolutely mauled with punches and knees, and he just got taken out really, really badly. Alhassan is going to absolutely put this on Omari Akhmedov here. I was at his fight. Not many people knew much about Alhassan. I was one of them. I heard the name. I seen one of his fights and seen he was overly very, very aggressive. And I looked at his record, and none of his fights have been outside the top. The first 90 seconds, I should say. And he went in there and blasted the fuck out of Charlie Ward, which was quite good because Charlie Ward's a bit of a cock. But the reason is because Charlie Ward was walking around pissing rain in Belfast with shades on, and I was just like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? But still, I'll get on to Charlie Ward at UFC Glasgow, unfortunately. Abdul Razak Hassan comes from a judo background, very hard to take down, so Akhmedov's not going to be able to take this guy down, I don't think. And on the feet, it's clear one-way traffic. I don't expect this to go outside the 2-minute mark in the first round. He's going to be in pretty much a lot of people DraftKings teams, I thoroughly believe. He's my most confident pick. So I've put Alhassan, Taisumov and Munhoz together. 3 units at plus 173 is my first bet. I don't think I'm going to be betting much in this card. I will be betting Hadzovic because he is an underdog. But they are my 3 most confident picks. Alhassan, Taisumov, Munhoz, 173. Let's cash this. I need to hit one of these and get back into the wave because my bets have been kind of lagging in the last 6 weeks of the last 6 or so cards. Excuse me. Abdul, Razak, Alhassan, first round knockout. He's going to come out and he's going to throw that big right hand and he's going to like he did with Charlie Ward. He came out there and hit him with one shot. He actually hit him with a beautiful uppercut, if I remember right. I had to actually watch that before I made this video here, because I was in Belfast and you don't see things close up when you're live at the fights, but when you come back and watch, you're like, oh shit, he hit that. He hit it right in front of Conor as well, which I thought was savage, straight savage, taking out his boy. I loved it. But Alhassan, first round TKO victory there. Peter Sobotta against Ben Saunders. From the odds that I have seen, very, very close fight. I like Peter Sobotta in this one. I think that Ben Saunders is very dangerous. He's an all-action kind of fun fighter. Wherever the fight goes, there's usually a bit of kind of excitement. It's usually a scrappy fight, and it was the last time out against Court McGee, and he got that decision there. Seen people say he could have given it to Court McGee. I thoroughly believe that as well. I thought Saunders won that fight. For me, I picked Saunders as well. No, I didn't. Did I pick McGee? I picked McGee. And I think that was my only one that I got wrong on that card, was that one. But it was a very close fight. Could have went either way, and Saunders got there. The decision. On the feet, I think that it's very, very kind of close. On the ground, Ben Saunders, you'll know what he's like. He throws up really weird, like the rubber guard technique, and he throws his legs and he's looking for Google platters and omoplatters and looking for ways to just get himself out there. So that there is opportunities there for Peter Sobotta to take him down. Peter Sobotta, in my opinion, is not the greatest fighter you will ever see in your life. I really didn't like watching too much tape on this guy. I thought his win over Nicholas Dalby was a really good fight. But if this guy gets takedowns, he usually wins fights. I see him getting takedowns in this one here, and I see him winning this fight because of that. I'm going to go 29-28 decision for Peter Sobotta, but it's not a fight I'm really looking forward to, in all honesty. But I am picking Sobotta, and I may bet Peter Sobotta if he is the underdog, like they're saying over here in the UK, but I say I'm not really believing that too much at the minute. Co-main event, Volkan Ozedemir against Misha Cirkunov. So happy that the UFC re-signed Misha Cirkunov. He's a guy that the UFC really needs. They need fresh blood in that 205 division, and he's a guy who I think could go all the way to the top and challenge for a title shot. So yeah, I really like him. I like him in this matchup as well. I thought that Ozedemir, he kind of got a good fight at a really good time. He got OSP coming off that loss to Jimmy Manoa, and came out there, showed some really nice technique with his strikes. Henry Hooft was in his corner. Some really nice leg kicks, and it kind of mixed up with the 1-2 as well. But in this one, I just think that Misha is the better fighter. I think on the feet, he is a powerful guy. He still has a lot to work on his feet, does Misha, but once it goes to the ground, like he showed against Nikita Krylov, that this guy is very, very dangerous, and he's very strong. He doesn't need much to grab a limb and submit you with it. I just think that on the feet, I think that Ozedemir is going to have the advantage, and he might get off a few shots, but I think Cirkunov is going to have no shit. He's take no shit. He's going to take this to the ground, and where he is strongest, I think that he's going to find a submission in this one. So I am confident in Cirkunov, but I'm not trying to underestimate Ozedemir either. So I'm going to pick Misha Cirkunov. I'm going to pick him via stoppage, via submission. But he is a heavy favourite from the odds I have seen over here. But I am waiting for the American odds. It's always the American odds I go by. So I expect him to be a plus 250, plus 300 dog at least. Actually, I think his odds have been released. I'm just looking there now, and he's plus 420, minus 420. So he's going to be a big favourite for that one, and I can see why. But I like submission in round number 2 for Misha Cirkunov. And the main event, we have Alexander Gustafsson against Glover Teixiera. I think I'm going to be staying away from this fight, betting wise. Gustafsson is the favourite, -200. Teixeira is the dog. I think it was a +150 or so. Both guys last time out I thought looked terrible. I don't think that Glover Teixiera looked good against Jared Cannonier. He won that fight. He didn't want to engage in the feet, which is fair enough because he did get his chin blasted by Rumble Johnson in the fight before, and Cannonier, to his credit, has big power. Alexander Gustafsson looked a shell of himself against Jan Blachowicz last year, and really struggled to. Both guys used their grappling in that one, especially Alexander. It was weird to see that, but we've seen that Jan Blachowicz can't stop a takedown really. So, where do you kind of go with your pick here? I'm going to go with Alexander. I think on the feet, I think he's obviously the longer fighter. I think that Glover is the bigger hitter, but I think the more versatile fighter all around on the feet is Alexander Gustafsson. Really good footwork, really light on his feet, mixes it up very, very well, has really good takedown defense, shown against Jan Blachowicz that he has that takedown offense. Again, it was Jan Blachowicz, so let's not read too much into that. Glover Teixeira, we know he has big power himself. He's had trouble with his chin in the past. I think if you're going by like who has the better chin, I think Gustafsson has. He's only been really cold cocked by Rumble. Rumble can take anybody's chin off. He hits you with the right shot, you're going down, you're going to sleep, and that's what happened. So I think he has the better chin. I think he's going to be in the 5 rounds. I think he's going to be the more fresher fighter throughout. I just think he's the more versatile fighter. I like him to win this one. I'm going to go via decision, but I'm not confident in the pick at all. I like him to win, not confident in the pick whatsoever. I think that Glover's really on his way to becoming a gatekeeper in that division. Now that Ryan Bader's left that division, he's going to be a guy that I can see fighting Misha Cirkunov or Tyson Pedro or so on and so on, who's ever coming into that division soon. But my pick's going to be Alexander Gustafsson via unanimous decision in his home country of Sweden there. So that's my picks for UFC Fight Night 109. I'll be back next week for UFC 212. Actually, I might make that this week because I have done a lot of taping it already. Depending, I'm back to work tomorrow after a few days off, so I'll see how I go with that one. Might watch some tonight. But please like, comment, subscribe. Come follow me on Twitter, Will Martin MMA. Follow all the good guys down below who make great content. And if you're playing DraftKings or betting on this card, whatever, good luck. I hope your picks go well. I'm in the top 20 on UFC Pick'em, so I'm looking to climb high into that top 10. But I'll be back for UFC 212, Aldo v Holloway, very, very soon. Enjoy the fight card when it comes round, folks. All the best.